Here's a number most retirement plans quietly assume. You'll be gone by 85. Financial software models it. Advisors plan around it. And for about half of people, it's roughly right. But roughly half live longer. 1 in 3 people who reach 65 will see 90. 1 in 7 will reach 95. So the money is built to last until 85, and a huge share of Americans keep on living past it. The problem isn't really that people run out of money, it's that they run out of it at exactly the age when everything gets most expensive. For most of the 20th century, running out of money in old age worked differently. If you had a job with a pension, your employer promised you a check every month for the rest of your life. That's what's called a defined benefit plan. The company carried the risk. If you lived to 100, that was the company's problem, not yours. And Social Security, the federal retirement program funded by payroll taxes, was designed to sit underneath that pension as a floor, not as the whole floor plan. Then the deal changed. Starting in the 1980s, companies moved away from pensions and toward the 401k, a retirement account you fund yourself out of your own paycheck, named after a line in the tax code. Same idea with the IRA, an individual retirement account you open on your own. These accounts have one feature that pensions never had. They can hit zero. You're now the one in charge of turning a pile of savings into an income that lasts an unknown number of years. Guess too high on your spending, or simply live too long, and the pile runs dry while you're still alive. That's the quiet engineering behind running out of money at 80. Longevity used to be the employer's risk. Now it's yours. Nobody voted on it as a single decision. It happened one company plan at a time, and the effect lands hardest in the years after 80, when going back to work isn't really on the table. So what does life after 80 actually cost? Start with the ordinary stuff: housing, food, utilities, insurance, and healthcare, because Medicare, the federal health insurance program for people 65 and older, still leaves you paying premiums, deductibles, and plenty out of pocket. For a lot of older Americans, that baseline runs somewhere between $1,500 and $3,000 a month, and it doesn't fall much just because you've slowed down. Then there's the cost that breaks the math: long-term care. This is help with the basic tasks of daily life: bathing, dressing, eating, getting to the bathroom once you can't manage them alone. And roughly 7 in 10 people who reach 65 will need some version of it before they die. Here's what it runs, using the most recent national figures. A home health aide coming to your house averages around $34 an hour. Bring one in for a normal workday and you're near $80,000 a year. Assisted living, a residential community where you get an apartment plus help with daily tasks, runs a national median around $6,000 a month, or more than $70,000 a year. And a skilled nursing facility, what most people just call a nursing home, where round-the-clock medical care is on-site, is the most expensive of all. A private room now runs a national median of about $128,000 a year. That's more than $10,000 a month. Now put that against income. The average Social Security retirement check is about $2,000 a month. So a single year in a nursing home costs more than 5 years of the average Social Security benefit. And these aren't rare, dramatic prices. They're the median, the middle of the market. Half the country pays more. And here's the comparison that really lands. Among households in their late 70s and older, the typical retirement account holds somewhere around $130,000. A single year in a private nursing home room can cost more than that. So for a lot of families, the entire nest egg, the money meant to last the rest of a life, is roughly 1 year of care. They also climb faster than regular inflation, year after year, right when your income has stopped moving. To see why this system produces so many people running low at 80, follow the money on both ends, the savings side and the care side. On the savings side, the shift from pensions to personal accounts didn't just move risk around, it created an enormous industry. Trillions of dollars now sit in 401ks and IRAs, and that money is managed for a fee. Those fees are usually a small percentage of your balance, charged every year, whether the market goes up or down, whether you're 25 and building or 85 and spending down. It's a quiet, permanent cut. Over a lifetime, even a modest annual fee can eat a real slice of what you saved. And here's the structural twist. A pension paid the same whether you managed it well or not because the company handled that part. In the account world, the industry earns its fee on your balance, not on whether that balance actually lasts you to 95. Managing the money is a service they sell. Making sure it never runs out is a much harder problem, and one the system mostly leaves to you. Then at the end of the line comes the care industry, and this is where the savings get captured fast. Nursing homes and assisted living are increasingly owned by large national chains, real estate investment trusts, and private equity firms, investors who buy up facilities to earn a return. Their revenue comes from a few places: private pay residents spending their own savings, government programs, and the real estate underneath the buildings. That business model shapes what you actually experience. Labor is the biggest cost, so staffing gets squeezed. Many frontline aides earn near the bottom of the wage scale, and turnover is high. Meanwhile, the base monthly price is only the starting line. Move up to a higher level of care and the bill goes up. Need memory care for dementia and it goes up again. The sticker price gets you in the door. The real number is whatever your needs turn out to be. And for the people who own these facilities, a resident spending down a lifetime of savings is simply revenue arriving on schedule. And as these chains consolidate, buying up the independent facilities, the pattern tends to repeat. Fewer local options, more standardized pricing, and constant pressure to hit investor returns that a family-run nursing home never had to answer to. So when the money starts running low, who actually pays for the care? The answer surprises almost everyone, and it starts with what Medicare does not do. Here's the thing people find out too late. Medicare, the program most folks assume covers old age, does not pay for long-term care. It'll cover a short stay in a skilled nursing facility up to about 100 days, but only after a hospital visit and only while you're actively getting better. Custodial care, the ongoing help with bathing and dressing that most people at 80 actually need, Medicare doesn't cover it. Not the nursing home, not assisted living, not the home aid for daily help. So the bill lands on you. First, it comes out of savings and income, the private pay phase. This is where a nest egg meant to last decades can vanish in a couple of years of care. Long-term care insurance, a private policy you'd have had to buy years earlier, covers some people, but relatively few own it, and it gets expensive and hard to qualify for once you're older. And the usual add-ons don't rescue you here. Medigap, the private insurance that fills in Medicare's gaps, and Medicare Advantage, the privately run alternative to regular Medicare, are both built around medical care, not years of custodial help. The long-term care hole stays open. When the savings are gone, Medicaid steps in. And notice that's a different program. Medicaid is the joint federal and state program for people with low income and few assets. And it's the largest payer of nursing home care in the country. But to qualify, you generally have to spend down almost everything first. Your savings, and often the value of your home after you're gone. In practice, Medicaid is the net that catches you only after the fall, once a lifetime of assets is mostly used up. And behind all of it stands an unpaid workforce. Family, spouses, adult children, mostly daughters, providing care for free. By economists' estimates, that unpaid family caregiving is worth several $100 billion a year, a hidden subsidy that keeps the whole system standing. When people say they're just taking care of mom, this is the money that never shows up on any bill. The prices you can look up are only part of it. The costs that quietly do the real damage don't show up on any brochure. Start with inflation. Social Security does get a cost of living raise each year, but it's tied to a measure built around younger working households. Older people spend more on healthcare and housing, the very categories that tend to rise fastest. So year after year, a fixed income buys a little less of what an 80-year-old actually needs. The gap is small in any single year and brutal over a decade. Then there's timing, what advisors call sequence of returns risk. If the market drops early in your retirement while you're pulling money out, you're selling investments at low prices and you may never fully recover. Two people with identical savings can end up in completely different places based purely on when the bad years happen to hit. There's a cost almost nobody plans for, too. Your own decline. Managing money gets harder with age. The years when the decisions are most complex and most expensive are often the very years when it's hardest to make them well. That's not a personal failing. It's a mismatch the system builds in and rarely accounts for. It also makes older Americans a target. Financial scams aimed at seniors drain billions every year, and they work best on exactly the people managing large sums with fading defenses. And then there's the family. When a daughter cuts back to part-time to care for a parent, she loses income now and retirement savings later, her own future eroded to cover the present. Careers stall, homes get sold in a hurry, siblings fall out over money that's disappearing, add the cost of moving and of adapting a house for a wheelchair. None of it arrives as a single dramatic bill. It comes as a slow leak, and by 80, the tank is lower than anyone expected. So why is it built this way? Follow the incentives. Moving from pensions to personal accounts was, for employers, a way to shed a huge and unpredictable liability. A pension that has to pay until you die is a promise a company carries for decades. A 401k match is a fixed, known cost. That shift saved corporate balance sheets a fortune, and it quietly handed the risk of a long life to the individual. The financial industry gained a vast pool of fee-paying assets. The care industry gained a stream of private savings to capture at the very end. And the government took on a specific, limited role. A floor through Social Security, medical care through Medicare, and a last resort catch through Medicaid, but deliberately not a guarantee that your money lasts as long as you do. Now watch the demographics. The baby boomers, the huge generation born after World War II, are marching into their 80s through the 2030s. More people are reaching the most expensive years than ever before, with fewer children to help and longer lifespans to fund. And Social Security's main trust fund is projected to run short in the early 2030s, which could force a benefit cut unless Congress acts first. Other wealthy countries handle this differently, with more social insurance for long-term care built in. But that's a policy choice, not a law of nature. America chose a system that maximizes individual freedom and, along with it, individual risk. That's the real transfer hiding inside the whole thing, a lifetime of savings flowing outward in the final years from the households that earned it toward the industries built to receive it. So here's the honest verdict. Running out of money at 80 usually isn't a story about people who were careless. It's the predictable result of a system that asks ordinary people to solve a problem even the experts find hard, turning a finite pile of savings into an income that lasts an unknown number of years through the most expensive stretch of life, with a program that covers old age but pointedly does not cover getting old. The system does deliver real things. Social Security keeps tens of millions out of deep poverty. Medicare covers the doctor and the hospital. The savings accounts genuinely build wealth for people who earn enough to fill them, but it breaks precisely where longevity and care costs meet after 80, and it breaks hardest for the people with the least cushion. The winners are the industries that collect the fees and capture the spend down. The ones who pay are the families quietly holding it all together. Growing old in America isn't the expensive part. Staying alive long enough to need care is. And the bill for that comes due at the exact moment the money is running out. If this made the money behind aging in America a little clearer, consider liking the video and subscribing. There's a lot more of this system worth pulling apart, and we'll keep doing it.